What's up, YouTube Revolution? ZombfectedGaming 349 at your fingertips. So today I want to talk about how Techland is getting acquired by Tencent and how this could be very terrible, but trying to remain cautiously optimistic at the same time to avoid being an entirely negative video. So let's talk about Tencent. Let's get the worst out of the way. Tencent is a Chinese multinational entertainment holdings company for video games and has been acquiring a ton of video game companies around the world. And this isn't a good thing, not because it's Chinese. The Chinese culture is awesome, so don't get me wrong, since I have it in me as well, but it's the politics of China is what we have to worry about. I don't want to get into the politics, so I won't get too much into it, but let's explain a long story but short. Tencent is known to copy other video games, which is known as plagiarism, and also putting ridiculous microtransactions into their mobile games. These are one of the many things they are known for. But now let's talk about Techland. The Techland CEO announced recently that they will be partnering up with Tencent and is purchasing Techland's majority shareholders, and I still don't know what to entirely think about this. Techland CEO said they will remain independently on their projects and will remain with their creative freedom to develop their games and won't be affected. Now, this is something that seems relieving that Techland is saying, but other video game companies got acquired by Tencent said the exact same thing as what Techland said. And you know what happened after? Tencent didn't allow them to have their creative freedom. This is definitely worrying, but I don't want to stress too much over it. We will see in the foreseeable future what will happen. I just don't want to assume the worst right away. Techland has been a great company and has been improving Dying Light 2 a lot over the past year and a half now and delivered on their promises and haven't abandoned the game like a lot of other video game companies have done when a game doesn't live up to expectations during launch. Techland isn't a perfect company and makes some bad mistakes, but then after will make a great decision and mop up that mess. So it makes me wonder, will Techland remain resilient and not let this Tencent thing entirely taint their games? I just hope there's at least a silver lining within this very controversial news. But I have a guess to why Techland and Tencent have also partnered up. Since Techland said they want to bring out updates more frequently, they said Tencent can provide them with the funding to make updates more efficiently. So does this mean more budget to work off of these updates to be bigger in scale and not so small? What I mean by this is the updates in Dying Light 2 have mostly just been community events with global goals and quality of life updates to fix the game. Don't get me wrong, it's good they are doing these updates, but they are cheap, meaning as in not a lot of funding is going into these updates to bring more to the table with these updates. Like for example, we need new missions that can be added. The last time we even received any new types of missions was when Chapter 2 released, which was almost a year ago now. Chapter 3 could have been out at the end of last year or the start of 2023, and here we are, still no Chapter 3. We only just got Pilgrim Outpost on TechlandGG.com, but that's not a new chapter. It's an internet service for games, similar to the likes of Rockstar Social Club and Ubisoft Connect. So yeah, this is I think the only good that can come out of Tencent is helping Techland fund their updates with a bigger budget and add proper new content that can permanently stay in the game, like new missions and not just timed events. These timed events are nice to tide us over just a slight little bit, but they're not entirely hype though. We need more stuff, for example, like Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, which was world-changing. Chapter 1 brought small new missions and volatile tyrants, which were new enemy types. Also, Chapter 2 brought in new human enemies, which are called Plague Bearers, and also added the daytime version of the Banshee, which is called the Hag. And it even added a couple small missions. This is what I mean. Techland needs to bring us new world-changing updates like Chapter 1 and 2, but amp them up with more things to do. I don't want to sound like I'm asking for too much, but this is what my guess is can only be good with the Tencent partnership. But one more bad thing to talk about is how Tencent is in China. They want to censor some video game content, and this doesn't go well with a game that is set in a zombie post-apocalyptic world with tons of extreme gore. So hopefully Tencent doesn't tell Techland to nerf the gore and get rid of the bones showing when you chop up an enemy. These Chinese companies are notorious for censoring bones and skeletons. Let's just hope nothing like this happens to Dying Light 2. So yeah guys, that's my thoughts on the whole Tencent partnership with Techland. Like I said, I wanted to go in talking about what is bad and what could just be potentially be a silver lining. But still everyone, we are still kinda uncertain to what could exactly happen in the near future. So just remain cautious of the near future of Dying Light 2, but don't get all overly negative. Let's just try to stay calm since we do know that Techland is still a company to listen to their community, and I'm sure they are still wanting to try and please the Dying Light community. There's a possibility redemption could potentially come after this bombshell of a controversial topic within the Dying Light community. But anyways guys, if you're a fan of Dying Light games and other games I cover on the channel, consider subscribing and ding that bell icon really hard so I can always stay within fast reach of your fingertips when new uploads arrive. ZombfectedGaming 349 over and out.